All right, Mr. Belinsky, are you there, sir? Morning, Mr. Belinsky. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can. How are you today?
Do I need to put my video on?
No video, but I hear you fine.
Okay. Yeah, this is Rabbi Belinsky here by special limited participation. Thank you, Your Honor.
And how are things in Black Hawk and the weather good, I hope?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's actually pretty nice out today.
Good. Glad to hear it. All right, Mr. Belinsky, you've got two cases, that being 22M152, 22M143. First time I'm hearing the cases, you were set for an appearance of counsel today by Judge KRAMER, who initially advised you. You filed a motion yesterday or the day before to appear virtually, given your residence in Black Hawk. You also filed a motion to continue and just filed motions to dismiss. I granted your request to appear virtually, given that I thought we were going to just be setting it over to see where you're at with counsel and giving you a new date. So my first question to you is, do you plan on getting an attorney to help you through this process?
Well, it depends on what happens here today. Namely, I'm here to basically just clear up these matters and would ask for the court to dismiss immediately, so we don't have to be putting our family through additional suffering and further false charges and so forth. I'd be happy to read a statement onto the record or give a little summary, but I understand that the clerk did receive the filing from last night early this morning. I spoke to the clerk's office about 8:30. There really is no reason to continue this matter, but if for some reason in the court's discretion, if they decide that they do want to continue it, then I would be likely seeking state-paid private counsel, but I will reserve further comments on the matter until I understand more what's going on here today.
All right, Mr. Belinsky, I do know that you did file motions to dismiss. I guess they were actually filed today, but they did make it to my inbox. I did review your motions as well as your exhibits. I don't really need to hear from the district attorney's office in regards to those, because your motions to dismiss did not contain any legal basis upon which I could grant them. In order for the court to dismiss charges that's in a criminal case that's pending against somebody without the state having the opportunity to present evidence at a trial, there's only limited circumstances under which that could ever occur. And your motions do not include any of those circumstances that would allow me to dismiss it and grant your request. Because if I did, the state would just appeal it and we'd be right back here, because again, there's no legal basis for me to do so. It's not a question of me wanting to or not wanting to, it's a question of the law.
Well, with all due respect, I believe there is a lawful basis for you to do so, and I think we should dispense with the technicalities, given the fact I did cite my Rule CRCP Rule 60B in the motion, and among other factors in this case that would make it extremely prejudicial, extremely egregious to move forward. I would ask the district attorney to go on record that they intend to continue, and if they do, I would ask that they demand actually a refutation of my affidavit and all the things that I outlined in my by special limited participation forthwith demand for required dismissal of cases 22C59, 22M143, and 22M152.
Mr. Taylor?
Your Honor, at this stage...
I apologize. I was on mute and I couldn't get unmuted. Mr. Taylor, this is EVA Wilson. I'm fine responding.
All right, Ms. Wilson.
Thank you, Judge. Yes, we have read and reviewed the defendant's many filings, And at this point in time, we are continuing, as I indicated to him in an email, we're continuing with the prosecution and asking the court to, I guess, set this for appearance of counsel to see if he's going to retain a lawyer. If not, to set it for a dispositional hearing before Your Honor.
With that, Mr. Belinsky, again, I don't believe there's any justification legally or factually in your affidavit and limited appearance and motion to dismiss, or in regards to your exhibits, that would allow the court to dismiss the charges against you, given the circumstances and the point we're at. It doesn't mean that in the future, if evidence is presented at trial or otherwise that would justify the dismissal, it could not be reconsidered. But at this point, the court has no basis upon which to grant the dismissal, given your limited allegations and odd claims in regards to the circumstances.
Your Honor,
I will deny your.
May I respond? May I
dismissed.
With all due respect, may I respond before you deny anything, Your Honor?
Okay, do it quickly though.
Okay. Well, first of all, there are legal basis and lawful basis. There are numerous officials, including yourself now, and the district attorneys, who are aware of the fraud upon the courts, the deprivation and violations of due process, and the crimes I have submitted, and they're certainly not odd. And furthermore, I am rabbi, so kindly address me as such. With regards to, prosecuting the case, there's certainly plenty of substantial evidence on record with the district attorney, with all the officials in the top positions in government, and this would be a travesty of justice, and would also be a waste on the taxpayers' funding and taxpayer dollars to proceed ahead. So I would ask you, Your Honor, with all due respect, to kindly refrain from making a decision, if you would mind, at least maybe perhaps until Monday or Tuesday or next week. I think we should, there's such substantial evidence on the record, certainly couldn't be reviewed in time for this hearing. So with all due respect, if you'd like to set it over for appearance of counsel, I don't, that's your it's your court. However, I would ask that this matter be reviewed in detail, and all the evidence reviewed, perhaps, and give the district attorney's office one last chance to decide if they would like to proceed. And also, I'm asking the judge directly, or the judges of this court, that they my demands are directed specifically to the judges to forthwith dismiss the void cases, and there's plenty of evidence and so forth. So with that, kindly consider that. And again, my title is rabbi, and I am here by special limited participation, and I do believe the courts have forfeited or have no jurisdiction in this matter, given all of the evidence and given all of the numerous precedents I've cited. Again, fraud upon the courts, deprivation and violation of due process, and any crime that has been alleged and proven in my related criminal complaints. So again, with all due respect, that would be my request or my demand.
Well, sir, again, I've reviewed your motion. This is not a civil case. This is a criminal case. Criminal cases involve testimony in court. Cases are not dismissed based upon affidavits or filing of exhibits or motions unless there is evidence presented or stipulations in regards to evidence. The state has not stipulated to any of your claims, nor would I expect them to. They have stated that they intend to proceed with the charges against you in the two criminal cases. The civil case, I'm not sure what that is, but that's not pending before me today. But again, there is no basis upon which the court can grant your motion to dismiss under the situation that has been presented here today. I have no need to review anything further or look further into it. So again, your motion to dismiss is denied. We have a choice now. You can take the time to try and hire an attorney if that is your request, or we can set the case for trial if you want to fight the charges quicker. That is up to you.
I'd have to consider those options, but likely I would be seeking state-paid private counsel. I believe the state has a conflict of interest. The public defender's office has a conflict of interest. Eva Wilson has a conflict of interest given her 20-year storied history in the First Judicial District, and I would be likely challenging jurisdiction formally and requesting this court move this matter out of this court, out of this judicial district, out of the 18th Judicial District. So I do not currently have employment, so I likely would be approved. However, again, I would be seeking, if I chose to, I would be seeking state-paid private counsel.
All right, well, you are free to apply for the services of the public defender. If they believe they have a conflict in regards to that representation, they can notify the court. But given those representations, I see it appropriate to set the matter over for an appearance of counsel to give you a chance to either hire an attorney or apply for the services of the public defender. Mr. Belinsky, do you need any information in regards to how to apply for the public defender?
Again, with all due respect, it is rabbi. That is my title, just like any judge or pastor that you would say father or doctor. So kindly refer to me in my title as rabbi.
Well, Mr. Belinsky, I don't know what your title is or what your determination is, but whether you are a police officer, a judge, or anybody else appearing in a criminal case, I refer to them by their first and last name or by their preferred pronoun. And at this point, I would address you as Mr. Belinsky or Jacob Belinsky. Your limited appearance has no bearing in regards to what you are deemed or how you are treated by the court. I just want to move your case along so it can be resolved one way or another. So we will give you another date to appear, looking at be April 7th.
So I object to any, setting of any appearance, but if that's what you decide to do, just so you understand that the holiday of Passover runs from the approximate periods of April 4th to April 14th.
You are correct, and if you are requesting it a different date than around the time of Passover, I'm fine setting it either on March 31st or we can go to April 28th. I don't have any problems accommodating your religious request on that.
Well, if you were to have to set it, I'm not acknowledging or validating this, but I would suggest the further one, the April 28th, perhaps.
And Ms. Wilson, is that date all right with the state? I will assume so. Ms. Taylor is agreeing, so April 28th.
I have further demand I'd like to make. My rights have been restricted unlawfully and unnecessarily, and I need to be able to travel at minimum. So I'd like it on the record. I'd like to request my ability to travel to be restored.
So where are you seeking to travel to, Mr. Belinsky?
Well, I have a number of places possibly. I have a business to take care of in Texas, and I have business to take care of in possibly in Indiana. I'm not planning to go out of the country. However, I would like some freedom to travel.
Ms. Taylor, does the state have any objection to him being able to travel outside of the state as long as he abides by other conditions imposed on the bonds and protection orders?
As long as the defendant is able to abide by the other terms and conditions of the bond. No objection, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Belinsky, I will grant your request. I will remove the condition that prohibits you from leaving the state of Colorado. I now grant you permission to leave the state of Colorado to travel, but all other conditions of the bond and protection order will remain in full force and effect. But you cannot leave the United States as I can't give you permission at that point, okay?
I heard you.
And what time on the 28th works best for you, Mr. Belinsky? That will be in person out in Kiowa, Colorado.
Well, given the circumstances, I think you can determine, the best time. I'm in opposition to this matter proceeding, and I'm not really I don't care to further validate said rescheduling, but if you were to do it, I would probably suggest a later time in the day.
That's fine. you can object to it, and I don't mind you putting that on the record, but I just want to make sure I pick a time that would work best for you if you're going to show up, okay? So maybe 2:30 in the afternoon, does that sound all right?
Perhaps you should check with the court and with the prosecutors.
Oh, he's going to be here all day. He didn't care what time.
So it's at your discretion.
All right, then we will set it April 28th at 2:30 for an appearance of counsel. Again, apply for the services of the Public Defender's Office if you want to have court-appointed counsel. And if you qualify, we can deal with your concerns in regards to any conflicts they may have at the future. But the statutes do require that you have to go through the Public Defender's Office to receive court-appointed counsel, and we could deal with the other issues in the future, okay? Any other questions, Mr. Belinsky?
I have no questions for this court. I believe there's no jurisdiction here, and this is a unlawful action. But I heard what you said.
All right, sir. Well, have good holidays, and we will see you back here in person April 28th at 2:30. Thank you, sir.